What is going on, guys? Predator45H here, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to World of Warships, where today we're going to be taking a look at a replay sent in by Soalhn in the ARP Myoko, although in the replay it's just showing up as the normal Myoko. As you can see, fairly decent matchmaking for him. One tier 7 battleship on each team. His team's got two tier 6 battleships, so it's pretty good there for his team. He's already detected, and you can see quite a few enemies on the other side of the map, so must be one of those pesky destroyers close by to him. And there's a York who's opening fire on some of his teammates. He's currently moving in towards A, and it looks like he's beginning to turn to try and get his guns on target, firing off his front two guns as they are ready, as they line up with the target, and he's firing off his first salvo of high explosive. Now, as I said, this is the ARP Myoko, even though it's not showing up in the replay file, presumably because I have not selected the that specific port, whatever it's called, so it's just showing up as the normal one. But if you hear the command at any point in the battle, you'll know fairly quickly that it is indeed the ARP Myoko. But anyways, hasn't managed to land a hit yet. He's just busy turning around and trying to get his guns turned back around to the other side of his ship. Obviously, as I said in my first gameplay video in the Myoko, one of the most frustrating things is that these turrets are as slow as battleship turrets. And that's really not a exaggeration. What is it, 38 seconds, 40 seconds, somewhere there, to turn them 180 degrees, which is, yeah. I mean, it's still faster than most battleships, but I think the only battleship that is faster than that, I think, is probably Proteus. I think it's just under 40 seconds it can do it. So shots in on the Mitsuki, unfortunately they all missed, but some of his teammates have managed to find their mark. And obviously going after destroyers with such slow turrets can be tricky sometimes, especially if you have to maneuver a lot. But things are not going terribly well for his team, and here we've got a Nicholas very close, 6.3 kilometers, turning the whole ship so he can try and get his guns on target, firing off a full salvo, and 5 shells manage to find their mark, and he gets the kill. And that's actually the first kill that his team had managed to get. They've now got another one destroyed, one of the battleships. But before Soalhn got the kill on that destroyer, his team were down 3 ships. Their enemy has managed to sink a battleship and 2 cruisers. And obviously, as I said, they've now brought it back a little bit by sinking a battleship and a destroyer. Gets his steering gear knocked out by presumably that Cleveland. He pops his repair kit to fix that back up. Shells going in on the Cleveland, only 1 hit. Cleveland's maneuvering around like a boss. More shots going in, but they've now lost one of their destroyers as well. He manages to set the Cleveland on fire, 2 hits. So it's 4 allies destroyed and 3 enemies. So, you know, at least it's not as bad as it once was. They still haven't managed to capture A. Enemy team has captured C. They've got a destroyer capturing B, his team. So hopefully they'll be able to get that and pull the points back a little bit. But the enemy is now capturing A, but it is that Cleveland who's going to take some fire. So that will reset the cap and keep it reset. Got this Mitsuki, who's unfortunately, and the Cleveland's actually just been sunk. Mitsuki is unfortunately sitting behind the island. Probably looks like he's pretty much stopped. I think he was hoping that the island was going to completely shield him while he capped out the A point for his team, but unfortunately that was not the case, and several ships are able to start putting fire on him, and shots going in, a really nice 6 hits, and he gets the kill, second kill of the match. And that was a very well aimed shot. I wasn't entirely sure if that was actually going to find its mark and hit when he fired those shells, but yeah, very well aimed, and another destroyer removed. His team has now lost another battleship, so they've lost 2 battleships, 2 cruisers, and a destroyer. Enemy team, 2 destroyers, 2 cruisers, and a battleship. So fairly even right now. Colorado at 15.4, taking the lead and firing off front 2 guns. Just waiting on the rest of the turrets to turn around. Does 3,200 damage, manages to set him on fire. Is he going to put that fire out right away? And indeed he is. So if we can get another fire, he will burn. And he will burn for a decent amount of time. More shots going in as the turrets slowly get onto target. The Colorado has fired a salvo. Sal turns into the incoming fire and manages to miss all of the shots that were fired his way. Colorado is now turning around. Going to fire again as all of the guns are, all the turrets are aligned with the crosshair. These shells are looking pretty good. Can we get another fire? We can. 5 hits, 7 hits in total, but unfortunately only a single fire. Would have been nice to get more than 1. There's an enemy York headed our way, and Soalhn's team has now managed to capture A and B, so that's going to help them out a little in the points, but enemy team is now within the B capture zone and is currently capturing the B point back. And there's a cruiser moving into it, but I think it was one of their destroyers, because there's obviously a destroyer in, what's that, F8, but the other destroyer is not spotted right now, and I think that was the one that started the cap, and now the cruiser is obviously helping to speed it up, so that cap will be finished very soon. And there we go, the enemy team has just captured B. Colorado turning hard to port, getting its guns on target, 7 hits for 6,300 odd damage. Unfortunately, no fires on that salvo. York is now within range, well within range, so that's 10 kilometers. Shots going in, and they're looking good. 7 hits, 6,000 damage, and an incapacitation. Again, unfortunately, no fires. Who just died? One of our battleships, I think. Last remaining battleship. And York took some serious hits, possibly the final salvo from the battleship. 2 hits, and he finishes off that German cruiser. And here we have a ferry taco, and just waiting to see where he's going to be, trying to get all guns on target. He's going to fire some torpedoes. Just, you never know, he might get lucky. Colorado has pretty much disengaged and is running towards the very edge of the map. I'm not entirely sure why, but you know, that's his choice. Still 1 destroyer remaining on each team. Obviously, enemy team still has that Colorado, but otherwise it's 2 cruisers and a destroyer on each team. So fairly equal, but the enemy team does have a just under a 200 point advantage due to capping all the points earlier. And here we have 5 kilometers away the Madcatz. 1 turret going in, it misses. Another, that's a full broadside, so 2 hits finishes off the Madcatz, and that is his 4th kill of the match. So now the numbers are equal, and Furutaka 7 kilometers away, just waiting to see what he's going to do, but unfortunately that Madcatz finishes off the allied cruiser that was here with Soalhn, who, you know, for whatever reason, the cruiser did not automatically assume that there were torpedoes in the water, and didn't maneuver or anything like that, and thus was removed from the match. So once again, his Soalhn's team is outnumbered 3 versus 2. Allied destroyer is currently in A. Not entirely sure what he's doing. Firing torpedoes at this Furutaka. but you know, it's going to be a bit ineffective. Anyway, Soalhn now has a good line of sight on him, puts shots in, manages to get a Citadel with, he was firing AP, I believe, and that gets him Confederate as well. And the Furutaka is pretty much wiped out of the match. Just 1800 hit points remaining, and the salvo should finish him off and gets Soalhn HN the Kraken Unleashed medal. So I believe he's now going to move in towards B and capture that. Here comes some torpedoes, and Soalhn HN very kindly says thank you guys to the enemy team for his Kraken Unleashed medal. But now I believe that's pretty much what is going to happen is Soalhn and the allied Minikaze are going to move in towards B and capture that. Then they're going to move on to C and capture that. And the Colorado is not really going to be a factor for the rest of this match. Actually, no, wait. There's still a Cleveland. What am I saying? So there is still one enemy ship remaining besides the Colorado, of course. So, Soalhn is now moving in. Sorry about that. Got a little ahead of myself there. Moving in to try and get guns on target, because obviously if this Cleveland manages to spot the Minikaze, it's going to be very, very bad news for the Japanese destroyer. So, he is now turning to get all guns on target. We have the Cleveland spotted. Within 10 kilometers now, and he was considering going for a torpedo, launching a salvo of torpedoes, but in the end decided against it, and he's now going to move through the little channel here and begin to engage the Cleveland. This is a slightly risky move because this is at these kind of ranges when the Cleveland is extremely, extremely dangerous. But obviously it doesn't have torpedoes, so that might play into Soalhn HN's hands. Shots going in, manages 3 hits, but no Citadels. Obviously the Cleveland is one of the most difficult cruisers in the game to Citadel. And here come shots from the Colorado. I think he only took 1 hit there for 3,000 odd damage. A few more hits on the Cleveland, and now the Cleveland is starting to open fire. And be interesting to know if the Cleveland player is using HE or AP. I know the shells look a little bit different, but I can't quite tell. Looks like he might be using AP, but I'm not sure. Manages to get a Citadel hit on the Cleveland. And more shells coming in from the Colorado. Again, we're still just waiting on turrets. And take some heavy damage there. Was that Citadels from the Cleveland, or was that... It must have been, because the Colorado is on the other side of the mountain. And, I mean, you can see what I mean. Even though the Cleveland's got much smaller guns, at ranges like this, I think he must be using AP to have Citadeled her Myoko and done so much damage so quickly, because that's not HE and that's not fires. Gets another Citadel, more shells coming in from the Cleveland, manages to dodge those quite nicely. Waiting again on the Cleveland to expose its broadside, bounces those shells, manages 2 hits, or little to no damage. But he's in trouble. I mean, Cleveland's got nearly 10,000 hit points, he's on 1,200. But he manages 2 Citadels, 3 Citadels in that salvo, and finishes off the Cleveland for his 6th kill of the match. But anyways, now what is going to happen is he is going to move into C, capture that point. The Colorado is currently coming down the islands in E3, F3, that sort of area. And Soalhn HN is pretty much just going to cap and make sure he stays undetected because he's only got 1,200 hit points left. The Minikaze is going to try and harass the Colorado a little bit, get some torpedo hits on him, but he is not going to be sunk or anything like that at the end. The Colorado will survive, Soalhn HN will survive, and the Minikaze will survive, but as I said, the Japanese destroyer will get a few torpedo hits in before the end of the match. And in the end, as you can see, it is a victory for Soalhn and his team. He earned himself 234,000 credits, 3,794 experience. He got himself Confederate and Kraken Unleashed with 78 target hits, 1 plane shot down, 4 incapacitations, 6 kills, 5 fires, 6 citadels, defending a base 4 times, capturing a base once, and completing, boot camp challenge. Coming first place on his team with base XP of 2,529. The Minikaze was in second place with 1,900. Top on the enemy team was a Minikaze with 1,150 and the Fuso with 1,026. As for the detailed report, he managed to do 41,329 armor piercing damage, 38,161 HE, and 10,974 from fires, which gives him a grand total of just under 90,500 damage done. So, Soalhn, thank you very much for sending in this replay. I really enjoyed watching you take the ARP Myoko into battle, and I hope everyone else did as well. But that is about it for this video. If you enjoyed, please feel free to hit the thumbs up button down below and consider subscribing for more World of Warships, Armored Warfare, and a few other things that are thrown into the mix from time to time. But that is it from me. Thank you very much for stopping by. This is Predator 458 signing off, and I will see you guys next time.